I'm a kid that grew up in South Carolina, first college graduate in my family. My grandfather had 34 grandkids, and he decided, I want one of my grandchildren to go to college. It will be you. And I went and I came out of college with a master's degree. And that changed the whole trajectory of our family. And so because of that, I want other young people, many who today are still first-generation college graduates, to see that it's possible for them as well.
Extraordinary people in our community, I would say, are
Positively Milwaukee.
I'm excited to have you join us.
PozCast.
There are a number of organizations here working to make the city, the county, the state a better place for us all. And one of those organizations is MyPath. And so today on the PozCast, I have the president, Dorothy Buckhanan Wilson, joining me to talk more about this mission and what MyPath is. And I think what's interesting, Dorothy, is that I didn't know about MyPath. But after reading, I saw that your mission says MyPath, transforming lives. Describe the work that MyPath does.
First of all, thank you, Shannon, for having me here today. And it's a pleasure to be here, certainly, on your program. MyPath is just an amazing organization. We're celebrating 40 years of serving some of the most, I would say, severely disabled individuals, people with significant disabilities, mental health challenges, and other challenges. And we've been doing that, about 2,000 people served for now over 4 decades. We were started by, our visionary founder, Jim Balistrari, who is still very much active on the board of MyPath. But we are a family of companies, and our whole focus is on transforming the lives of those individuals. We don't believe that people have disabilities. We believe that there's some level of ability of everyone. And so our job as the owners, we are 100% employee-owned company. So as owners, our job is to make sure that their lives are transformed in ways that matters to them and their families.
And when you talk about that transformation, it happens at different levels, from young to young adult. Let's focus on maybe just one of the programs close to us in West Dallas. You have a school there where, again, kids may have a mental disability, or they struggle in a public school setting, and you've been able to provide the Richardson School?
The Richardson schools, they're across the state of Wisconsin, and certainly we have them here in the Milwaukee area. We do have one in West Dallas, and we take children who, for some reason, they struggle in the traditional public school system, and we provide for them a safe, supportive system and a safe, supportive environment where they can come and thrive, and they can be there with children like themselves and with staff who understand their significant needs and cater and tailors our programs to their needs. At the end of the day, if this a child with autism or some other special need, they need to be in an environment where they can be successful, and that's how we transform their lives.
And when I hear MyPath, I also hear independence.
Yes.
How have you guys been able to provide independence for some of those who have very significant disabilities?
We focus on what they can do, and we focus on providing those positive reinforcements and those supports so that they know day in and day out that we're there to support them, but more importantly, that we're there to make sure that whatever it is they're doing, they're successful. And so it's all about, for us, focusing on the individual needs, making sure that whatever it is we are doing, that it is for them, is tailored for them, and then working with them and reinforcing the importance of being independent. That's what it's all about. And
we all want independent, no matter what our mental capacity is, right?
Right. Independence for one person is going to look different than it might look over here. But for those children and those adolescents and those adults that we work with, it's all about making sure that whatever we do, that there's a sense of pride, dignity, and also independence.
So the property, or I should say, the company first started in Oconomowoc. I mean, that is a beautiful facility. And can you describe what you provide at that facility for the young people that are in your care?
Right. The Richardson School, actually this is called Genesee Lake School, which is, again, on the original property out in Oconomowoc. And again, we're working with young people and providing for them services that support their individual needs. And so when they come to us, we figure out what it is they need. They have, certainly a level of of case management and other supports around them. And then we work with them for whatever duration of time they're with us. And in many cases, it's years to make sure that they are successful. And so on that campus, for those young people who stay there and they're supported, they get a wide variety of not only supports on the educational side, but also on the medical and the clinical and the therapeutic side as well. So yes.
I always believe access is key, right?
Absolutely.
So how do people find out about MyPath? How do they get access to all these great programs?
Well, certainly for the young people, the young adults and also the children that are referred to us, it's through the school system. That's first and foremost. And so that's kind of how they enter. The initial referrals come to us through the schools. It's for our school programs. For other programs, it might be through some other provider or some other supporting or family member finding that resource and getting them access to it, because that's typically how it works on the adult side. But basically, it's a referral system, and they have to come and certainly apply and be accepted, and then from there, they're in the programs and the treatment as well as the support begins.
Yes, because I think a lot of times people don't know where to go and
Right.
how to go about
Right.
it. So I always love to have people come on the podcast, share the organization, but I always want to make sure that I tell the people how they can connect with the organization.
And of course, as you mentioned earlier, we have a very active website out there, a very active social media presence, and it tells you there again how to get in contact with us for the various programs and services that we provide.
This is such a vulnerable community that MyPath serves. What drew you to MyPath?
Well, as you probably know from doing your research, I worked in the disability community for about 20 years prior to coming to MyPath. Served as an executive with the Goodwill organization here in southeastern Wisconsin, working with individuals with physical disabilities as well as intellectual disabilities. And then from there, I did some other things and worked as a consultant and was asked to serve on the board of MyPath. And I think it was because, certainly those who were involved with the organization knew of my passion for working and helping people in this community, but also knew of my love for making a difference in their lives. And so I was asked to come on the board of directors. And then about 2 years into that process, I was asked to work at one of our facilities as a consultant, as an interim executive director, the T.C. Harris School and Academy in Indiana, down in Lafayette. And then from there, I said, well, maybe I might want to consider working again.
You said
at
again?
some level, because I was a consultant. I was not really, in full time
You were making your
employment.
own hours.
Absolutely. And so I decided that maybe I would consider it, but didn't really act on it. And then I did another stint last year at one of our long-term residential inside that department for about 7-8 months. And then I was kind of like hooked again, kind of like, okay, this is my life. This is my passion. I love it. I want to be more involved. And so when I had an opportunity to become president, I jumped at that opportunity because I felt that it's easy to talk about making a difference. I know that I can make a difference because my track record is such that I've done that everywhere where I've been. I've left it better than I found it. And I felt that at MyPath, given what we do with who we work with, you can see the positive impact you're making every day. And so I wanted to be a part of that.
So as you mentioned, you had that experience, hands-on experience in the trenches
Right.
In Indiana, working at that school and then moving to another school, even while you had the experience of being on the board. Are there any stories or success stories that you can think of, individuals that you personally saw that growth, where you again knew your passion and purpose was in the right space because this young woman or this young gentleman is doing what they need to do and is independently living with MyPath services?
Right. Well, because most of the individuals who are with us, whether they're children or adults, many of them are with us for a long period of time. They don't necessarily transition out the program, certainly like that. And so while I was there for a year, I didn't really get a chance to see individuals move like that. But what I did have an opportunity to see was basically when we add certain supports and certain services, what a difference that made. I had an opportunity to see, basically young people coming to us and over the course of a 9-month period blossoming as they came into their own and became more familiar, more comfortable being in that setting, and seeing how they thrived under the care and supervision of staff. And, we call them owners, who every day come in and do this incredibly hard work and this heavy lifting with children and adults who in many cases, they've been in many other places before they landed with us. And just seeing kind of how they settled in and how they thrived in these positive environments. And so my goal right now is to make sure that we continue to be that safe space for those families that need our support for their loved ones, and that we continue to make the difference at that level in a way that matters.
And for you to get to this level, you couldn't have done it by yourself, right?
Right.
So I wonder, how did your HBCU experience shape you into this direction? And for those who don't know what HBCU is, that is historically Black colleges and universities. You went to a Black college in South Carolina. I went to Howard University, so we share that love for HBCUs. But how did that shape you into, again, leadership?
Right. When you're in an environment such as an historically Black college and university, they teach you first and foremost that you can do anything that you put your mind to. They give you that confidence coming in to know that you don't have to worry about what's going on around you, that you can compete with the very best. I left Benedict College in South Carolina and went to Clark Atlanta University to get my MBA degree. And so I'm a double HBCU graduate. I mean, I am very proud of that. I lead with that because I think it's important for young people to hear that it's not about where you go to school, but how you make the best out of every opportunity. And so when I was in graduate school at the age of like 20, I was running major programs and projects on campus. I went and did an internship in New York, and then I did another internship in Michigan. I mean, those kinds of experiences, I can't necessarily say I would have gotten that in other places. And then again, having that supportive community around us, as we both found at the HBCU, and folks would pull your coattails if you weren't quite doing what you were supposed to. But again, them reinforcing that you can compete and do whatever it is everyone else is doing on that level. And so coming out of that, going into my first corporate job in Connecticut, moving from there to my second corporate job at SC Johnson Wax, where I was competing and in an environment with very top-notch MBAs from schools all over the world.
Just as top-notch as you,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. And I was able to be promoted and move through the ranks very quickly. I knew then that HBCU experience was the very best situation for me. Others might not have done as well, but I did. It really allowed me to come into my own. And so I don't regret it for a day, and I highly recommend that for anyone who's looking for a supportive environment for their kids. In fact, I said to my two children, who are both HBCU grads, that you can go to any graduate school you want to, but your first degree must come from an HBCU, because it was such an experience for me.
Yeah. And it is an experience.
Yeah.
It is definitely an experience that sticks with you. And another thing that I like about you, Dorothy, is that you are not a gatekeeper. You have written a book. You can lead. And what do you want people to know in this book about your experience through leading, and again, some of these top-notch companies?
Right. What I say in the book, and the whole premise of the book, is that no matter who you are at any level, you can lead. And that leadership really starts for us as women, African American women, when we're young people, primarily teenagers, because all of us have had the experience of our mothers or fathers going away for a moment and saying, okay, you're in charge of the house. You're in charge of the siblings. When I get back here, I want XYZ done. And so that's leadership. I mean, you having to supervise your young siblings or whatever the case might be, making sure the house is clean when they get back. And so that's leadership. We don't call it that, but that's what we call family leadership. And I had a chance to do a lot of that, by the age of 9, 10, when my grandmother and grandfather, who were taking care of us kids, got sick, and I, along with my siblings, had to help take care of them. And so for 4 or 5 years, I had that experience. And so that was I would call, foundation of leadership. So then, of course, I left there, went to an HBCU where I got reinforced, 2 of them, all kinds of ways. So by the time I got out into the real world, I had been leading for a long time, even though it was not really defined that way. And so I say to people, I'm kind of like an old soul that way. I came into this environment having about 10 years of leadership, even though we didn't call it leadership per se. And so I wrote the book because I felt that for so many women, so many people of color, they come into environments, they don't have the confidence, and they don't think of themselves as leaders when in fact they really are. And really, when you look through the book and some of the chapters, it really talks about challenges that I faced as a young leader, because in many cases I was the youngest, the only woman, the only person of color. That was kind of my story throughout my life, whether it was there, at other jobs. And so because of that helped to shape shaped me to be, I would say, a stronger leader, but also a more perceptive leader, because I was able to kind of read the room, read the landscape, and understand that no matter who you are, everyone is going through something. And so I used all those experiences. And so when I came out of my experience as international president of Alpha Kappa Alpha, which is, in our community, a really big deal to be, international president of one of our Greek-lettered organizations, I decided that I wanted to put some of my learnings in a book. The other reason I wrote that book is because I would interact with so many young people when I was international president of AKA, and they would say, Ms. Wilson, I've never seen people like me leading, and I've never seen people like me on books, on covers of books. And I wanted to have a book out there that was titled Leadership with an African-American woman on it, so they could see that it's possible for them because it was possible for me. I'm a kid that grew up in South Carolina, first college graduate in my family. My grandfather had 34 grandkids, and he decided, I want one of my grandchildren to go to college. It will be you. And I went and I came out of college with a master's degree. And that changed the whole trajectory of our family. And so because of that, I want other young people, many who today are still first-generation college graduates, to see that it's possible for them as well.
Representation is so important, but confidence is even more important, because then you're able to do what it is you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Because you do it with a sense of selfish reassurance. Dorothy, thank you so much for coming by the PozCast.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it, and certainly enjoyed talking about my path, but also about my leadership journey, because I think it's important that, especially for young people in our community, that they see that people like us every day who came from very humble beginnings can also go out and change the world and make a difference.
And still be humble.
Absolutely.
Is there someone in your community doing amazing work? An unsung hero, or someone just with an inspiring story to uplift us all? Well, I want to hear from you, because I want to talk to them. Why don't you reach out to me with the email on the screen? And the next time you tune in, they may just be sitting next to me here on the PozCast.